it took about 6 weeks of teaching for them to kill that idea. I was just miserable. When it comes to business, I think hands down, the U.S. offers more opportunity.
The cold friends just keep coming and they never really left. Why we come back to Mexico again?
I guess it's kind of combined why we left Texas with why we came back to Mexico.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
I try not to hit the table so much to make because it's bouncy.
Okay. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome back to our new episode. So today we're just going to kind of sit back and, some people may be wondering if we've been kind of following our channel, why we came back to Mexico. We've talked a little bit about it, but I think we're going to go into a little bit more detail. And again, for those who don't remember, I'm Roddy.
I'm Landy.
So let's kind of jump into it. I think we're going to talk a little bit about why we left the U.S. and Texas or Houston in particular, and again, what kind of drew us back to Mexico.
Yeah.
So I don't know, where do you want to start?
I think for me, I have a Mexico in my heart. Keep calling me. Let me put it this way. Because every time when I dislike something back in the farmhouse, it's always a Mexico calling.
Well, what was that? What was that calling? What was it saying
we
to
watched,
you?
We watched too much HGTV. That's the story again. Every time we watch the international house hunting or Mexico life on HGTV, we saw the beach, we saw the relaxing life, we saw how the sunshine is, how warm, how nice the beach, how lovely the food are. People are buying houses there, and just feel like, why we left? I want to go back. I haven't finished my journey in Mexico yet.
Yeah, and I know a few people mentioned that on some of the comments when we did the one about us coming back to Mexico, and they're like, "Wait a minute, what you went, Mexico, Texas, back and forth, back and yes, that's obviously true." And everyone's like, "Well, make up your mind." Well, I guess one of the comments I put back was, fortunately, we do have that freedom to kind of move back and forth. I think that's one of the things we always talk about with people, and we try to, let people know is, we do have that freedom in our lives to kind of be able to do that, which is great. Now, do we need to make up our minds? I think so.
Yeah, it's a kind of life, not everything is easy. Make up your mind like one day to the other. It takes time to explore what we really want, how we really feel like, because moving is a big thing. So that also caused a lot of struggling for those months. I kind of hate myself or dislike myself somehow in this way, as I'm struggling every day. Stay here or move back.
Right. I know.
Stay here or move back, because I'm not a single lady anymore. It's about my husband, my kids. There are lots of things involved. Not just, I go, pack up and fly. 2 hours, I'm in Queretaro. No, it's not about this easy.
Right.
That's a lot of things to take care of. Right. That's how.
Yeah, I think so. I think at the end of the day, like I said, whether it's a single or even just us two, but of course, as you mentioned, we do have a child, or anybody has a family. You have to take in so many other things into consideration, and we do want to try. I think we do want to offer stability to Louie in the long run. I know, moving kids around all over the place constantly, may not be good in the long run. So we do want to try to find the best possible place.
Yeah.
And again, while he's young and he's not necessarily in school, I think that is the best time to try to find where, the best time to try to find out where we fit, whether it is back in the U.S. in Houston, or whether it is here in Mexico, or even different places in Mexico, not just Querétaro itself. I know we've talked about that, and I know that was one of the things that we struggled with, was going back and forth. constantly. Those last maybe month or so, where it's just like pros and cons. Stay in Houston, go back to Mexico. And what were they? Of course, Houston in the U.S., we've always talked about is better for business. When it comes to business, I think hands down the U.S. offers more opportunity.
But that's also why we went back to Texas last year in September, October.
Right.
The original purpose was to find a real estate investment property, which we just fall in love with the land. Somehow we didn't plan to.
No.
We have our old belongings still in Mexico. Our dogs are there, our everything.
Right.
Louie's toys are there.
It was not the plan
at all. It's not the
plan
until we saw the land, and we were looking for beautiful land, a small acreage, for at least, I don't know, 1 or 2 years.
Yeah,
and
before
we
Louie.
were looking at least 30 properties.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't find the right one until we saw that one, the right place, right price,
everything.
Yeah, the size, everything, it fits our needs. And we thought, okay, let's give a shot.
Right.
You know, maybe it's a time thing. It's just falling to our head.
Right.
Like, you should buy it.
You know, and one of the things they talk about in real estate and business is you shouldn't make things emotional. And,
Right.
and again, I think so. We kind of broke one of the key rules is we made the property emotional, right? We thought about it as something that we had wanted, something we had looked for,
right?
And so again, we fell in love with it. When it comes to business and flipping and stuff, you shouldn't. It should just be a business deal. Get in, get out, be gone. Right. So I think that was kind of the biggest thing.
But the thing is, the numbers still works. It's not like we overpay it because we get emotional. No, not about that. The number works at the beginning. Then we thought we can buy and sell. But then I thought for that situation, all the interest rates raised up, all the bigger houses, especially countryside acreage, it may sit on the market for a couple of months. The price keep dropping. We don't know. It's not something really predictable.
Right.
That's why we thought, what about keep for ourselves for a couple of years when the market went back, bounced back, interest rate dropped, and then we put on the market to sell.
Right.
And as a homestead, we can save some tax.
Right.
Right. So that's the whole thing.
Right. As far as it being emotional, you're right. As far as we weren't emotional, we didn't buy the property, because the numbers didn't fit, and we just bought it because we liked it. No, you're right. At the bottom line, it made sense. Yeah. It was a good deal. It's still a good deal to this day. We're getting good cash flow whenever we decide to sell it in the future. If we sell it, again, we're going to turn a pretty good profit. Right. So when it comes to business, definitely the U.S. was one of the biggest pros. I think another pro in the U.S. we've talked about was maybe education. Right? We said, okay, Louie is almost elementary.
Yeah, and it's good for his English. He did improve a lot of his oral English.
Sure, I think he's in that time frame. Right, in that time, right? He just turned 3. I think language is improving a lot anyway. Yeah, and his English just like jumped, phenomenally because he was in daycare with us, and of course he was learning words that. We weren't even teaching him in the house from the daycare, and little silly things like, oh my God. You definitely saw that. And so we kind of thought down the line, for schooling, definitely was going to be a good choice to maybe keep, because he's so close to elementary, maybe about 1.5 years, 2 years, depending on the timing. So we feel, okay, maybe for school. But then kind of everything else, I think those are the 2 biggest pluses. I mean, I can't really think of another big pro. As far as reason, business and schooling were the 2 main ones. On the other side of that, I know Landy had mentioned a lot. The weather, and myself, the weather in Houston is very unpredictable, and it's very hot and it's very rainy, cold, very humid. And we were there in the winter, and it was actually pretty cold this winter. It's
very cold this winter
by Houston standards. I'm not going to compare up to Canada and Nebraska.
Right. I don't even remember Houston can be this cold in the winter. And I feel just. Why the cold front just keep coming and they never really left. Right. They come and go a few days, and again, especially we're living in the countryside.
Right, and they're coming with a lot of rain, so everything was always muddy and dreary. And then of course, when the summers come, we weren't there for the summer in this house, but we know how summers are. They're extremely hot. So we knew that was coming, regardless. And then again, I've talked with a few people and neighbors, even here in our neighborhood, like just things were so much more expensive in the U.S. I mean, it was just in the year we've been gone or more, the prices of everything just feels like it had gone up. Everything, like
from the
bills and food
at the beginning,
right?
The restaurants.
Yeah, right. All kinds of food. The bills seem like they were more than they used to be. Everything, gas. Just on a level all the way across, everything just seemed more expensive. And like I said, we did have the funds to kind of balance ourselves out, but again, we were going to be very tight. We were just kind of breaking even. Again, that's not where we like to be. We always feel we want to have some savings, have that little nest egg.
And I think especially those months, we were still rehabbing the house,
right?
And still we're paying a little bit more than we expected,
right?
So the rehab cost got bigger.
Sure, the rehab cost got bigger. The foundation, we were staying in hotels and Airbnb, and so of course, which means you normally eat out a little bit more, so all their expenses. So we really kind of felt that the price increased a lot more. I think that's even when I made a decision, because we were kind of breaking even, and we talked about that before. I still have my teaching certificate. From Texas. I thought, well, you know what? Worst case, I can just go back and start working, at least until we kind of get a little bit of cushion money. We feel comfortable, and then I can stop working maybe in a year or so, right?
Things didn't.
Let me tell you,
that's also one of the big things.
I was able to get a job. There was a couple of there was 2 school districts very close that were hiring, and I got hired at a middle school teaching Texas history. And I'll try to keep this short, but I'll say that I was kind of looking forward to going back to teaching. I was like, oh, one of the issues when I left was never the classroom. I always enjoyed the classroom. It was always kind of everything else. Well, it took about 6 weeks of teaching for them to kill that idea. I was just miserable. And again, I don't know if it was just that particular school, the students. I mean, I kind of walked into a hard position anyway, but I'm just telling you, every day was a struggle. So, I mean, for teachers out there, I feel your pain, especially middle school. I said maybe it was a middle school thing, maybe it was just an isolated thing or place. But my goodness, I mean, this was country school. You figure, the country, kind of outskirts, suburb area should be kind of good. I mean, these kids were out of control. And again, you hear these things online all the time, just disrespect, and they don't respect anybody, and the things they say, the things they do, no discipline, lack of discipline. I mean, it was just everything. And I just literally hated going back to school and going back to work. So within 6 weeks, I was like, after this semester, I am done. Or excuse me, after this school year, I'm done. Well, lo and behold, I didn't even make it to the end of the school year. I said, you know what? Nah, this is, again, kind of like before. I was like, I don't like the way I feel. I don't like, this is not good for my health, not good for my stress. Again, I understand why those teachers leave out there. If it's anything like what I went through, I understand. So I said, you know what? Let's get out of here. I'm done. I don't want to go back. And so I made a decision. I put in my resignation. I was like, no, I didn't, and I know we talked about it. I said, well, I want to kind of finish it out for the school year. I know I told the kids I'd be there, which again, I know maybe kind of somewhat disheartening, but at the end of the day, or like, I want to give my word that, I told them I'd finish the year out. But at the end of the day, we've all had jobs. At the end of the day, the bottom line, if you leave, they were getting rid of teachers, they were firing teachers in the middle of the school year, hiring teachers. It's a business, and businesses at the end of the day really don't care about you. Bottom line, whether I came back or not, they were going to move on. They were not going to miss me. The students at the end of the day weren't going to remember me. I'm never going to see them again. I was like, nah, it's not worth it. Let me save myself so much stress, so much time, and give myself the enjoyment back in living.
Yeah, I think on my view, as the outsider, I'm not you, okay, but I can see. Let's explain or analyze the situation, like your teaching job, you hated, you left. Let's put two ways. Number one is after living in Mexico, we don't work. Literally,
not the 9 to 5,
work.
Right?
Yeah, 9 to 5. Like for over a year or 1.5 years, we were having very relaxed lifestyle. From that level, then you go to the stressful early morning, wake up early, drive 30 minutes to the work, right?
Yeah.
That's already a big difference.
Yeah.
Plus, you used to teach 9th grade.
Yeah, in high school,
and this is 8th grade or 7th grade. You've been teaching for very long.
No,
before.
Never did middle, only high school, my whole life.
You didn't know what you expected.
Right. I was doing the thing.
I mean, put this two ways.
Yeah, I was doing the thing. I was doing the husband thing, the father thing. I was like, I need to get the job for the family just to make some money, bring it in, do whatever it takes, right?
Yeah, and also let's get out, because I know I sent my husband, or he was willing to do that. I didn't push him to do that, and I know that's not our goal. Go back to Texas. We go back to do business.
Right.
This is just a temporary solution to cover some rehab or living costs for a couple of months. Well, we already thought about maybe just the 6 months in and out, but we gotta refinance the house and do some flipping down the way. That was just a temporary coverage.
Right.
It's a short time solution.
Right.
It's not a goal like, oh, I want to be the principal. That's my goal.
No. It was always about business. Always about just give ourselves some cushion money, keep on flipping, keep on buying rentals.
Exactly.
And so within like a year or so, just kind of resign again. But that didn't happen.
Yeah. and somehow we want to, let's go back to Mexico. We still want to see more out of it. There's so many beaches, lovely towns.
Places.
Right. We just never been there. I don't want to just, let's settle down in Texas forever. Louie go to school. Okay, let's settle down. And when you go back to Mexico, sure, winter, summer.
Right. And Christmas. It always becomes harder because just with schooling as it's coming. But I think talking about with Louie's schooling is that we still do have time. He's not in school yet.
Yeah, he has another 2 years.
Right. So we have time to kind of still travel with him and be a little bit more free, visit a lot of places that we haven't visited yet, and even revisit some places that we have. So at the end of the day, I think Mexico is always kind of calling in the back of our head. Like you said, you know what? we made the wrong decision.
I don't think it's a wrong decision.
But I think to stay, maybe.
Huh?
I think maybe to stay.
To stay
was maybe the wrong decision.
Yeah, it should be the wrong. I think it's against my willing. You know, every day it
was against the plan.
Yeah, my stomach told me because I already talked to myself when we begin to buy this farm, flip it to stay there. I never promised I'm gonna stay there for a long time. Right. Even you want to buy the 0-turn lawnmower, I told you stop that. Well, you don't want to buy right now because we don't know how long we're gonna stay there.
Yeah, well, that's just a necessity of farm life, but that's another discussion.
But it is. But if you plan to stay there only for a couple of months, you plan to leave. Why you even buy it? That's my thing. That's why I stopped you to buy that.
Because when we first got to the plan, was to stay there only a couple of months. The plan was we were going to stay there. That's when I thought about it. Once we started changing our minds
then I said no, we don't buy it.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
Let's hold on it.
Yeah, it was even just. I think it was pretty understandable. I don't think it was like you told me. I think it was just like, it makes sense.
And also a lot of other things we never bought, like for the outdoor furniture, for our deck, or many other things I never bought.
I think after the first few months, we already kind of started thinking
about it. Kind of started not so sure. We tried to figure out.
Right. And so, we weren't going to make any big purchases because, again, it wasn't the right thing to do. But like I said, I think it was the wrong thing to do to move back. I think the plan was a good plan. Go back, flip, come back. I think if we stuck to that, everything would have been fine.
Right. Because of the 3-acre. Right, it's jumped to our head.
And it was beautiful. It's
nothing wrong to buy that. I'm still happy to buy it.
Oh yeah,
because we gained a lot of equity on it.
All day, every day.
Even today, people are asking me to sell it. I can sell. You know, no problem. Now, even our neighbor want to buy our property.
Oh yeah. No, like I said, the purchase itself never an issue. And what else? Then when it comes back to coming to Mexico, and even things like with schooling, we've even thought maybe stay here longer, even if it's not just for a couple of years. We can come back, and we have an international school right outside our neighborhood, as we've mentioned. We can send Louie there. Elementary, I know it's those kind of formative years, but I think it can. We have kind of maybe the 2-year plan, maybe stay here 2 years, then maybe go back, or like I said, in 2 years we kind of revisit and say, you know what, we really do like it here. We can send Louie to elementary outside the neighborhood. I think it's maybe in 7 years we kind of come back and decide, okay, now we're 7 years. Now he's getting ready to go to middle school. And to me, that's kind of more the transitional period because, in middle school, high school, that's when you have all the extracurricular activities and clubs and things and so much more. Again, do they offer them here in Mexico? Yeah. But I think they offer more. There's more things for a student to try, right? To pique their interest and see what they really like, to kind of find their path. So again, that could be 2 years or 7 years down the line.
We don't know yet.
Right.
It's always like life. You really don't know. You don't know your destination yet. We don't want to know.
Right. But I think the plan is, of course, we're still going to go back to Texas, to do business. And I think whenever we go back to Texas, is stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan. Yeah.
Right? Go buy a rental or go buy a flip.
Right.
And that's it.
Right. Don't stick like I want to stay.
Yeah.
I think after the 3 acres, I don't even dream of buying a 10-acre. It's too much work.
I do, but that's me.
That's for men maybe okay, but as a woman, I think it's too much work. I just feel it's hurting my joints, especially you work in the cold days.
Oh yeah.
That's maybe you never experienced that. I felt some physical pain. That's another big thing bothered me.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. I mean, working and dealing in that kind of environment, and it's that's why they always talk about farmers and ranchers and people who work on that kind of environment. They tend to be strong and healthy, and but they also over time they do develop arthritis and things because again it is a tougher life. It's a physical life.
Yeah.
So for all the goods and bads that it does bring. I mean, sure, I can understand that, but obviously on the guy's side, I always think, well, it's good to have land and you can work on the land and maybe have some animals, and if it's a big enough land, I know for me. I used to be a kind of hunter. You could do all these kind of things, but which is fun. As a man, as a guy, those are things you like to do.
Now, for me, I don't think I like it. No.
I think so.
My life is so busy. I have business to take care of. I have YouTube to take care of more. I have Louie. I have 2 dogs. I have myself.
Yeah.
I don't even have time for myself to take a lovely bath to relax for 2 hours.
Yeah, I think something like that.
It's just difficult. Yeah. As a woman, I don't want a woman getting older and work on the farm. No, it's not for me. No.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the slave.
No, yeah. Well, like I said, it's something, especially when you're so busy. It could be something maybe when if we stop doing YouTube, when we really stop working and flipping and now, then there's something that possibly someone could enjoy. I'm not saying necessarily us, but you can see it maybe down the line. Why a lot of older people tend to do that. Once they like to go out and retire in the countryside because
older people like to buy a condo with a nice view, no maintenance, or HOA take care of it.
It depends on what you want to do and how physical.
Downsize. Most. Let me talk about the most people downsize. If our neighbor want to sell the land because he's like getting to be 65, retired, he's like, too much land to take care of.
Oh yeah,
remember Ben?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, he had the 5 or 6 acres, and we talked about buying a piece from him. And I might want to sell the whole thing. I was like, well, we could buy the whole thing from you.
Yeah, it's too much. And I talked to the ex-owner. She came by. She said she took care of this land for 14 years.
By herself, right?
By herself.
Because after her husband died.
Yeah, and then later on, the left and the right neighbors take care of that for her. They didn't charge her.
Right.
But that even you pay for maintenance, that's not cheap. We paid the $250.
Right,
for a man to come over, right, for the leaves.
Right. So, and like I said, at the end of the day, I know, it was, the right decision was to come back, and enjoy here. We have our house, we did take it off the market.
Yeah.
We call the realtor, say, you know what, we're back. We enjoy it. One of the things I also enjoy as we've been here the last few days is, one, the little things like the pool. The pool's nice. I mean, I know Louie loves it. We go out there and enjoy ourselves. But again, to me, even more than that, is afterwards. I mean, there's about 10 or 15 kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right.
And
we take him out and he just has fun and he runs and he plays and there's so many kids. He's probably the youngest one by a year or two on some of them. But they all take care of each other. They all run together, play together. And you can tell he's so much happier in that sense. Did he enjoy being outside and getting a little dirty and muddy and playing in the creek? I think so. I think, to a degree, he did enjoy it. But he was always by himself or with us.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. We're obviously older. We don't have the energy we once did. So to be around 12 other kids, who are between, 3 and like 7, and just have them watch them run around, that's as a parent, that's a great joy.
And also the weather just so beautiful here. Every morning I wake up, it's another sunny day. Louie opened the curtains and Mama, sunny day.
Sunny day.
Yeah, every day. I said, every day is a sunny day here.
Yeah.
And evening, it's so breezy. We just sit in the backyard. In the countryside, it's dark. Yeah, I bought some lights from Amazon, hang up, and that doesn't work. I returned it.
It barely made a difference. I could probably barely see Landy from me to her right now with that light. It was so dark out there.
Like here in Zakia, it's so beautiful in the evening. All the lights on, people taking walk, jogging. All the plazas in here, it's just open. You can eat out, call pizza. Everything's here. And I can enjoy this big lawn here. Well, who knows, 5, 10, 20 acres. And I don't have to take care of it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you think about it, the whole complex itself is maybe 1.5 acres, 2 acres, maybe even 3 acres. This might have been the size of our land. But again, other people take care of it for us, which is nice.
Yeah, and they have a beautiful lake or anything. Of course, we pay HOA. Yeah, but that was...
It's still better, and we still save money. So, coming back was a good idea. Yeah, going out, you want to walk at night. Yeah, you have all the enjoyment and the well-lit pathways out there in the park.
We have a mall just 10 minutes driving.
Right.
HEB 10 minutes, everything 10 minutes around us.
Right.
And no traffic jam. And everything's so bright.
Right. And no serial killers running around. Or no murders running around.
No murder,
That was, I don't know if anyone's watching the news. There's a big the manhunt in Texas that they've been talking about. That's actually right where we lived. We were maybe 5 miles from there.
Oh gosh.
That was very close to us. That was very close to where we lived, which is crazy. But anyway, I know that's kind of funny. But yeah, so having Louie kind of enjoy himself and just having a nicer place. Having the great weather. I mean, sure, it gets a little hot right now. We're here at the hottest time of the year. We're probably maybe hitting the hottest time of the day right about now, about 1 o'clock. But again, it's still bearable. No AC in here, and it's still very comfortable.
Yeah, and then we came back. We went to the buffet the other day. How much we spent? $50.
$50? For the Brazilian buffet.
Yes. Yeah. 1,000. How many other buffet we had?
No,
this time.
I know.
Yeah.
You may not know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 1,000 peso, $50, and
right.
Or we can
for good meats. We're not talking like like little Chinese or like all good solid meats, and they had a nice little buffet bar, seafood. They had all the tuna and salmon smoked.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Yeah, definitely you wouldn't be able to get that quality of a Brazilian buffet. That's what I want to make that point clear. That for that price, no way. and all the good stuff they had there. Oh yeah, it's so much better. And just when we first got here, we went to go eat $15 for that little meat plate. That's so good. Oh, just everything is so much better.
Yeah, eating here, I'm kind of no budget. I don't really have to count anything. Whatever, let's call pizza. Let's go out for taco, for a good buffet, breakfast, brunch, back home, and okay, we gotta watch out. What kind of restaurant we're going?
Right. Yeah. Where are we going? Maybe once, twice a week, and that's it. Everything was tend to be a lot more regimented, a lot more budgeted.
You're gonna watch out a bit once you're eating out in the U.S. Right. That's how it is.
Like we went to go eat chicken, and like the hearts, that was $30. Yeah. Right? So just for a couple of, for $20 more, we were getting like steaks and meats and stuff like that. Like good quality again at the Brazilian buffet we went to. Again, much different, quality and standard of food that you and for a great price. Yeah,
we talked to one of our friends. She said for $70, the fried fish plates.
Oh yeah. For her and her husband, they went to Papa's. Oh, and instead of just like fried fish and some French fries, it was like $70, $80.
Yeah, and it was okay. Yeah, nothing like really impressive.
No, it was just fried fish and French fries. How good or bad is it? But definitely not worth $70, $80 good. I'm sure.
Yeah. So moving back, the lifestyle, everything's more relaxing, stressless.
Yeah, wake up, go to sleep when we want, wake up kind of when we want. Well, go to sleep when we want, wake up when Louie wakes up. Yeah. But it's still better than have to wake up at 5 in the morning.
And you don't have to go out to work.
Right.
That's another thing.
Right. We have more time to hang out, do our work here, just kind of take care of our business as we need to, back home, which is great.
Yeah, you have the freedom to choose this kind of life. Then why you have to live in the more struggling life?
Right. I think at the end of the day, that's
the point. It. And we're getting older. We're not getting younger. We want to take care of ourselves, make our mood better, not more stress.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, or like we've said, it's just the best decision for us. After a very short period of time living there was just, it's just, the struggle was too much. Everything was too much. It just wasn't worth it. Again, we'll still continue to go back and do business. Because that's where our business is, and there's still money to be made there. But if we can enjoy both sides, I think most people could or would. I think if they had the opportunity, it's a great opportunity, for us and for our family. And so again, we'll be traveling more. I think that's kind of the plan. I know we have in a few weeks we're going to Puerto Vallarta, which we're looking forward to, and again we'll share that with you as well. And we have some other plans to go to some other beaches and some other towns because I think going back home we realized we didn't travel as much as we could have. I think we just took very few trips, Guadalajara and maybe Mexico City and some small towns around here. We're like, really?
Morelia,
and we're like, really? That's it? Like we really did. We're here for almost 2 years, and like
we didn't travel that
as much as we planned. So we're like, no, we got to go back. Our whole plan was to go and travel and see more of Mexico and enjoy it. And we did. And taking that step back in Texas, we're like, wait a minute, we really didn't do that, right? So, and on top of everything else, we said, well, no, let's go back. Let's enjoy. Let's go see some more beaches. Let's go see some more history, some more beautiful towns, and everything else that Mexico has to offer.
Yeah, I think that's good. Once you don't move back to experience your true feeling, you really don't know what you are looking for in your life. Now I feel, that's make my decision more firmly.
Yeah, right. I think we have to take that step back, right? To kind of think.
Like if you don't date a bad guy, how you know how you date a good guy?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Okay.
So that's kind of our reasoning. What we thought. Maybe some people were wondering, some of the pros and cons, and why we came back to Mexico. Like I said, taking that step back made us realize that we started a couple of steps here to take in Mexico and enjoy our time.
Yeah.
Anything, any comments, questions, go drop them on the bottom, leave them there. We'd love to hear from y'all. Do we make the right decision, wrong decision? Who cares? Whatever. Places that we should visit. I think, we do have some places in mind. Of course, like we mentioned PV. We're going to Oaxaca, Mazatlan. These are all coming up.
Merida.
Merida, Huatulco, or Oaxaca, Huatulco area, all kind of together. We'll definitely go back to Mexico City. We always enjoy it there. It's so close to here. Other places that we should travel to when we're in those areas, let us know. Again, we'd love to bring you along and enjoy what we're doing in our channel. So thank y'all.
See you next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Bye.